Welcome to Fresh Talk News Channel. Today, we dive into a breaking story that has sent shockwaves through national security circles. A high-level discussion among U.S. security officials regarding airstrikes on Yemen has been fully published by The Atlantic magazine. The revelation comes after a significant blunder. The editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, Jeffrey Goldberg, was accidentally included in a Signal group chat where these discussions took place. Initially, The Atlantic withheld portions of the conversation, citing discretion. However, after senior officials asserted that no classified information was shared, Goldberg opted to release almost the entire exchange, stating, "These statements have led us to believe that people should see the texts in order to reach their own conclusions." But what exactly do these messages reveal? Let's break down three key aspects of the discussion. 1. Timetable for the attack. One of the most alarming aspects of the leak is the level of operational detail about the planned strikes in Yemen. The messages describe the military's package, a term referring to a coordinated set of aircraft, weapon systems, and intelligence assets deployed for an operation. Glenn Gerstel, former general counsel of the National Security Agency, NSA, told the BBC, "The idea that this wasn't classified information at the time is inconceivable." While it may have been declassified after the fact, any imminent military action involving U.S. troops would have been classified at the time it was discussed in the chat. The leaked messages from Pete Hegseth outline crucial details, such as the scheduled launch times for F-18 fighter jets and the planned strike timeframe. They also mention trigger-based attacks, a term referring to predefined conditions that must be met before weapons are deployed. This could include something as specific as a visual cue, like a mobile phone lighting up. Philip Ingram, a former British Army intelligence officer, reinforced this concern, stating that similar details firmly fall into the category of top-secret information. He added, "You can practically plot where the aircraft are coming from just by looking at these messages." Despite this, the White House and other U.S. officials insist the leak does not constitute the exposure of a war plan. Hegseth himself responded on X, formerly Twitter, writing, "The Atlantic released the so-called war plans, but those plans include no names, no targets, no locations, no units, no routes, no sources, no methods." 2. Missile guy hit at girlfriend's home. Another striking part of the chat involves National Security Advisor Mike Waltz providing an update on the operation, referred to in military terms as a Battle Damage Assessment, BDA. Waltz confirms that the targeted building collapsed and that the U.S. military had positively identified the target, a Houthi missile guy, entering the structure, which was believed to be his girlfriend's residence. In his message, Waltz congratulates Pete Hegseth, the IC intelligence community, and General Michael Kurilla, the commander of U.S. Central Command. However, the messages do not disclose how the target's movements were tracked. A military expert, speaking anonymously to the BBC, speculated that the target's location may have been identified using a combination of aerial surveillance, technological tracking, or human intelligence on the ground. The U.S. airstrikes in Yemen, which targeted over 30 Houthi sites, including training facilities, weapons manufacturing centers, and drone infrastructure, resulted in at least 53 casualties. However, it remains unclear which specific target Waltz was referring to in the chat. 3. Intelligence activities in Yemen. Perhaps the most sensitive part of the leak is a message from Joe Kent, a former special operations soldier and one-time congressional candidate, nominated by former President Trump to lead the National Counterterrorism Center. In his message, Kent references Israel's own military operations in Yemen. Since the beginning of the Israel-Gaza war, the Israeli military has launched several strikes against Houthi positions, responding to missile and drone attacks on Israeli targets. The most recent known Israeli strikes took place on December 19 and 26 of last year. Kent suggests that Israel will seek to replenish any weapons expended in future raids, though he considers this a minor factor. A particularly sensitive message follows from CIA Director John Ratcliffe, who notes that the U.S. is mobilizing assets to support an upcoming strike but reassures the group that a delay would not negatively impact intelligence operations in Yemen. Ratcliffe elaborates, saying, additional time would be used to identify better starting points for coverage on Houthi leadership. In intelligence terms, assets could refer to on-the-ground operatives, surveillance drones, or other classified reconnaissance methods. Mick Mulroy, a former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense and ex-CIA paramilitary officer, stressed the sensitivity of Ratcliffe's message. Essentially, we don't want to share where the CIA is focused, he cautioned. On Wednesday, Ratcliffe testified before Congress, firmly denying that he had disclosed classified information in the chat. The fallout and what's next. This leak raises significant concerns about operational security at the highest levels of the U.S. government. Were these discussions truly unclassified, as officials claim, or has a major intelligence breach just been exposed? With the Pentagon and White House now facing mounting questions, this story is far from over. Stay tuned as we continue to follow this developing situation. Thanks for watching Fresh Talk News channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more news and updates.